On our broadcast tonight, screeching halt. GM and Chrysler staggered by this financial meltdown, closing plants, slashing jobs. Another wild ride in the markets around the world, ending a tumultuous week. 11 days to go now. Michelle Obama fills in for her husband. John McCain is talking taxes. More of our exclusive interview tonight with Sarah Palin. Donor danger. They help couples who want to start a family, but should they be getting better medical follow-up? And making a difference. Lessons in life for two people from different parts of the world who found they have so much in common. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. On any other night in normal times, the news today in the markets, the banking industry, and in the car business would be earth-shattering. Instead, all of it comes in the midst of this still spiraling financial crisis. And tonight, there is great concern about Detroit, the home of the big three. There's new evidence the automakers have stalled. Chrysler announced today it will cut 1 in 4 white-collar jobs, and GM is now burning $1 billion a month in cash. The auto business just got $25 billion from the federal government. They may now need more money to survive. We have two reports tonight, beginning with Phil LeBeau, who covers the car business for CNBC and for us. And Phil, these are some big American brand names.
They are, Brian, and that $25 billion you mentioned just a minute ago, that was allocated to help the automakers retool and become more competitive. Now the issue is whether Washington should help the big three become the big two.
More cutbacks for Detroit's beaten-down automakers. Chrysler cutting 25% of its white-collar workforce, up to 5,000 jobs.
This is a watershed event. Chrysler's taking a desperate measure because desperate times call for desperate measures.
Desperate because sales have plummeted, down 17% at Ford and GM, 25% at Chrysler, where dealer Phil Johnson in Chicago has lost potential sales because he cannot get financing for some customers.
It's getting tougher and tougher to qualify our customers.
With revenue drying up, Chrysler and GM are now in merger talks, perhaps with the aid of federal loans. Those loans, similar to the one that saved Chrysler in 1980, could avert big three bankruptcies, which would hit America hard. By one estimate, up to 2 million jobs.
We're getting so close to the edge that we're really concerned about this catastrophic consequence.
Detroit suffers as high gas prices have forced Americans to reconsider not only what they drive, but how much they drive. SUV sales have been hit hard this year, and the latest data out today, Brian, shows that Americans have driven 15 billion fewer miles. Brian, back to you.
Phil LeBeau starting us off on the troubled car industry. Thanks. And now to the markets. For a little while this morning, in plain English, it looked like the stock market was about to fall straight off a cliff. It didn't happen that way, but there are a lot of worries now beyond these automakers about how businesses and consumers are going to weather this epic financial storm. CNBC's Carl Quintanilla is with us again tonight. Carl, is it just going to be this way for a while?
There's a very good chance of that, Brian. The markets are coming to grips with the problems you were just discussing. Joblessness, bankruptcies, a global recession that investors suspected was coming, but is finally showing up in the numbers. Relentless selling on Wall Street today as investors shun stocks, sending the Dow down 312 points to 8379, a new 5-year low. And some say the pressure may continue, just like in October's past, 1929 and 1987.
What happens over the next 5 to 8 days will be spoken about for generations.
Reasons for today's sell-off? For one thing, hedge funds are dumping stocks to raise cash so they can pay clients who want out of the market.
One of the rules on Wall Street is, in a period of time like this, it's not what you want to sell, it's what you can sell.
More important, though, signs of a global recession are coming into full view. In Japan, Samsung and Sony said fewer consumers around the world are buying their electronics. The Nikkei tumbled 9.6%, and the selling didn't end there. In Russia, trading suspended again today. And in the UK, markets fell after data showed the economy is shrinking, the first step toward recession. That slowdown has its upside. The average price of U.S. gasoline is below where it was a year ago, $2.78 a gallon versus $2.82 last year. OPEC is so worried about the declining price of oil, it cut production today by 1.5 million barrels a day. And many expect them to cut again as economies around the world hit the brakes. Other developments tonight, the Treasury Department's expected to broaden their rescue plan to include insurance companies. And Brian, that credit crunch we worried so much about in recent weeks, that's improving slowly over time, just as the broader economy hasn't caught up yet.
And still, every day brings a new surprise. Carl Quintanilla, thanks as always. And now we turn to the presidential campaign with just 11 days to go now before the election. White House says President and Mrs. Bush took part in early voting, casting ballots for John McCain today. Their votes are now going to be mailed back to Texas. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama campaigned for her husband in the battleground state of Ohio. As you may know, as we reported last night, the senator is in Hawaii visiting his grandmother, who's described today as gravely ill 2 days before she is to turn 86. John McCain in the battleground state of Colorado. At a rally in Denver, he charged Obama's tax plan would not only soak the rich, as he put it, it would put the middle class through the ringer. And Sarah Palin campaigned in Pennsylvania and Missouri. She and her husband, Todd, gave depositions in St. Louis today in a second investigation now into the firing of Alaska's top public safety official. Meantime, Pittsburgh police now say a McCain campaign volunteer made up her story about being attacked near an ATM by a robber who then apparently, as the story goes, carved the letter B into her cheek after seeing a McCain bumper sticker on her car. The B in this story, we were led to believe, was for Barack. The McCain campaign steered reporters' attention to the story yesterday. John McCain even called the 20-year-old woman. Sarah Palin called her family. Well, tonight that woman is charged with making a false report to police. To talk about all things political, our political director, Chuck Todd, is with us tonight from Chicago. Chuck, big picture, all this talk about the electoral map, the 270 needed to win, the battleground states. Where do we stand heading into this weekend?
Well, heading into this weekend, before this week, we were at 264 for Obama to 163 with 111 states sitting in toss-up. Later, we're going to be this weekend moving Virginia and Colorado, two toss-up states, into the lean Obama category. What does this mean? That moves us total to 286. What else does it mean? If Nevada, which is a state that's also trending in Obama's direction, went in his column at 291, that means he could lose Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Florida to McCain and still be at 270. It's a big shift. It just shows you the expanded playing field for Obama has paid off. He is not banking on those big states.
Chuck, as you and I saw joining the McCain-Palin campaign briefly on the trail this past week, these are tough and tense times. Our own poll has this at a 10-point race, others more, others less. What do you hear from inside the campaign?
Well, they're bracing for what's going to be a very tough couple of days, because upcoming in the New York Times, a Sunday Magazine piece all about what happened inside the campaign, what went wrong, why did they go from message to message. Well, as that leaks out all over the internet, Brian, as you know it will, there's now more people talking on background to reporters, more backbiting. Tom Ridge, the former Pennsylvania governor, talked about how he would be a better help had he been on the ticket instead of Sarah Palin. This is not healthy for a campaign as they strive to get going to the end.
All right, Chuck Todd in Chicago for us tonight. Chuck, thanks. And it's one of the important issues in this campaign, free trade, specifically its impact on American jobs. It's particularly important where we just were this past week, the battleground state of Ohio, as layoffs in the auto industry mount there. Our own Kevin Tibbles reports as part of our continuing series on the issues where they stand.
For nearly a century, the men and women of Moraine, Ohio have rolled up their sleeves for the auto industry, generation after generation. But by year's end, it will all be gone.
They're building all these places everywhere else but here, and they're closing up all the ones that are here. So, yes, that's affecting us.
Debbie Miller owns the Upper Deck, a popular watering hole for many GM workers. Here, the hurt is palpable.
Free trade means you can trade our lives away.
It's the big corporations, they're making more money over there, so they're sending all the jobs over there.
How important is trade to Ohio? This state is still reeling from the Rust Belt days of the 70s, and the fear is it's just going to get worse.
The presidential candidates have crisscrossed this battleground state where trade is a major issue.
God bless the United States of America.
I am a free trader, and we need to have education and training programs for displaced workers at work.
John McCain, a strong supporter of NAFTA, wants similar trade pacts with Colombia and South Korea, arguing they lead to economic growth.
For far too long, certainly during the course of the Bush administration, with the support of Senator McCain, the attitude's been that any trade agreement is a good trade agreement.
Barack Obama says he, too, is a free trader, but wants to renegotiate NAFTA, seeking better protection for American workers and the environment.
America is built on trade, yes, but outsourcing, no.
In this proud but battered place, the loss of their auto plant will erase some $2 billion from the local economy. They say they can compete globally, but
the playing field has to be level. It has to be fair. If we import their products, they have to be willing in the same vein to import ours.
We're so worried and busy about looking out for everyone else, we need to look out for ourselves too.
in Ohio, many want the next president to pay more attention to what's going on in their backyard. Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, Moraine, Ohio.
When Nightly News continues this Friday night, young women donating their eggs, are they putting their health at risk? And later, more of our conversation with Sarah Palin. We talk about her immediate future and beyond.
Let's replay that question.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure and I have high cholesterol.
But he treats both with one pill.
Catawit makes it easier to manage my two conditions. Catawit contains two proven medicines, one for lowering high blood pressure, the other for lowering high cholesterol, combined in one pill. Catawit. That works for me.
Catawit is one of many treatment options, in addition to diet and exercise that he discussed with his doctor.
Catawit is not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Along with diet and exercise, Catawit effectively lowers both high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Two medicines, one pill. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you.
Where on earth could we ever find enough oil and natural gas to power more than 60 million cars and heat 160 million households for 60 years? Right here in America. Log on to learn more.
Can a multivitamin support a healthy body and alert mind?
My One-A-Day does.
New One-A-Day Women's Active Mind and Body is a complete multivitamin with support for bone and breast health, plus extra B vitamins and a guarana blend to help you feel alert and energized. One-A-Day.
Change your skin's look immediately with new Definity Color Recapture from Olay. Powerful anti-aging moisturizer that goes beyond wrinkles to fight age spots and discoloration meets the illuminating instant coverage of foundation. New from Olay.
Where do Americans get 2/3 of the oil and natural gas we rely on? North America. Surprise? Learn more. Visit energytomorrow.org.
There are questions tonight about a possible health concern for egg donors. There's been a recent surge in egg donations in this country. One reason, donors can get paid up to $20,000. But as donations rise, questions are being raised about how safe the procedure is and about the long-term effects on donors. The story tonight from our chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Snyder.
Pick up almost any college newspaper and the money offered for egg donation is stunning. $10,000 to $20,000 offers are more the norm than the exception.
It looks like there's almost no effort you have to put into it.
Being an egg donor requires a strict medical regimen, including daily injections of fertility drugs to stimulate the ovaries to produce eggs, and an outpatient procedure under sedation to retrieve them.
I give myself a shot every single morning.
This 23-year-old grad student doesn't want us to use her name. Earlier this year, she donated 28 of her eggs. Today, she's back to do it again.
I'm helping someone, and they appreciate it. That someone's really happy about this happening.
You know, the real heroes in our infertility world are these egg donors, because they're the ones that make it possible.
No one disputes that egg donors provide a vital service to women who can't produce their own eggs.
Here's a little extra oxygen for you.
But what does concern some critics is the lack of follow-up once the donors walk out the door. Professor Deborah Spar is president of New York's Barnard College and author of The Baby Business.
There's a difference here between asking people to undergo a procedure that's about their own health and asking people to undergo a procedure that is directed towards somebody else's health. So I think we have to hold it to an even higher standard of quality controls.
One suggestion for quality control, a national registry to track the health of egg donors. But in countries like Canada, where strict regulations have been in effect since 2004, experts estimate that egg donation has dropped significantly by almost 50%.
I think a national registry is critical here. Even if it does nothing more than to demonstrate to us that fertility medicine and egg donation are 100% safe.
While some doctors do say a registry makes sense, they point to legal and privacy issues as roadblocks.
We have to be very careful in our country that we don't discriminate against the infertile and don't restrict reproductive choice simply because it's about reproduction. And the reality of it is there have been tens of thousands of babies born, tens of thousands of donors.
Donors who many believe deserve the same long-term follow-up as any patient. Dr. Nancy Snyderman, NBC News, New York.
And when we continue here in a moment, from the trail tonight, Sarah Palin on her political future and what she thinks the media got wrong.
When you have a cold, you want something that makes you feel warmer, more comfortable, and something that makes you feel better. New Tylenol warming liquids relieve your painful cold symptoms to help you rest easier and give you a gentle warming sensation. So not only do you feel warmer, you feel better all over.
It's endless shrimp at Red Lobster. Indulge in endless choices of your favorite shrimp, including new shrimp in a spicy Cajun butter sauce. It's endless shrimp, our best value of the year, now at Red Lobster.
You can discover an unseen world, an untold story.
Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell? What? Who?
Tinkerbell, all new movie on DVD and Blu-ray this Tuesday, rated G.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Senator Obama, I am not President Bush.
True, but you did vote with Bush 90% of the time. Tax breaks for big corporations and the wealthy, but almost nothing for the middle class. Same as Bush. Keep spending $10 billion a month in Iraq while our own economy struggles. Same as Bush. You may not be George Bush, but...
I voted with the president over 90% of the time, higher than a lot of my even Republican colleagues.
Hey, you should look at this.
What?
Your PAD isn't just poor circulation in your legs causing you pain.
It isn't.
Mom, it more than doubles your risk of heart attack or stroke.
I didn't want to worry you.
You need to read about Plavix. If you have PAD, Plavix can help protect you from a heart attack or stroke. Plavix helps keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, the cause of most heart attacks and strokes. Promise you'll talk to your doctor about Plavix?
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. So tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
NBC News in depth tonight. We're back with more on the campaign trail, specifically more of our interview with Sarah Palin. We caught up with her on the campaign trail in Ohio this past week, an eventful week. Tonight, we talk about the campaign experience, her relationship with John McCain, and what she says the media have gotten wrong. Where are you coming from this morning?
We were in other parts of Ohio.
Is there any more important state?
Nah, there's some as important.
By the time we caught up with the GOP ticket on the trail at midweek, it had been a tough week for Sarah Palin.
They're in charge of the United States.
She had told a
Senate,
student questioner the vice president was, quote, in charge of the U.S. Senate. Then came the story about the RNC ponying up $150,000 for a new high-end wardrobe and other personal items damaging to the self-described hockey mom. But the more damaging numbers, the NBC News Wall Street Journal poll showing 55% of respondents now believe Palin is not qualified to be president. Then just today, Palin and her husband were placed under oath for depositions in the so-called Troopergate investigation in Alaska. McCain and Palin don't relate to each other like close friends. They've only really known each other for 2 months. And for most of that time, they've been traveling in separate orbits across the continent. When they're together, at least in front of a visitor, they catch up on each other's children and talk about that day's campaign strategies. You can make a break for it, Governor.
Ready?
Yeah. Right, exactly. Just this week, Palin seemed to be taking charge of more of her message and her time with the media. At one point, she broke away from her handlers to take a few questions on an airport tarmac.
We're doing interviews every day. We've got interviews scheduled every day.
Are you liking it more?
I've loved it from day one. My life has been an open book, and my life is an open book today. And you know, Americans deserve to know that the background, the associations, the affiliations of a VP candidate. I'm willing to continue to be an open book, but I'll tell you, there have been some unfair shots taken by some of your colleagues against certainly trying to spin my record into something that it is not, and that's been a little bit frustrating. But I think the most frustrating thing has been some unfair shots taken against my family because they have been based on lies, and that's kind of hurtful.
Anything you want to correct the record on?
Oh, we've been trying from day one to correct the record on things like my alleged attempts to censor books. Of course, that's never happened, and my record of oh shoot, you know, I'm not going to rehash some of the old ugly stuff, but Brian, there is some frustration there in understanding you can't pick a fight with those who buy ink by the barrelful in the media. It doesn't do any good. But if these things were true that have been said about me or my family or my record as a governor and a mayor, if those things were true, I wouldn't like me either if I were to believe all the things that have been reported. There's been a lot of false allegations out there.
Our brief conversation led to the inevitable question about her future in politics if she and John McCain do not win on November 4th.
As for furtherance in a political career, I'm not even going to think about that. I'm thinking between now and November 4th what it is that we have to do in reaching out to the electorate, letting them know who John McCain is, what we represent, and how electing John McCain is the right decision for the future of America.
Even though you know the talk about you will start the day after the election if you're unsuccessful.
Well, I'm concentrating on November 4th and just you know, having a lot of faith in the wisdom of the people, understanding that getting the economy back on track and winning the wars, John McCain is the right leader to get us there on both those fronts.
Our goal here this week has been to let you listen to the GOP ticket, what they have to say, just as we will do with both Democrats between now and Election Day. By the way, video from our time with McCain and Palin this week can be seen on our website, nightly.msnbc.com. After a break, we're back with an inspiring story in our Friday night Making a Difference report.
From painted deserts set ablaze
to snow-capped mountain peaks,
our travels last for only days,
but our spirits soar for weeks.
The salty air, a comfy chair, a place we can unwind.
But what it is we really miss is the home we left behind.
On June 1st, 2009, new document requirements will make getting home from Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean by land or sea more efficient. Learn more about the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative at getyouhome.gov.
Where on earth could we ever find enough oil and natural gas to power more than 60 million cars and heat 160 million households for 60 years? Right here in America. Log on to learn more.
For years, low-dose aspirin has been a cornerstone of heart attack prevention. Today, there's Bayer with Heart Advantage. Ask your doctor about the only low-dose aspirin product that helps lower the risk of heart attack and lowers cholesterol. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin or modify an aspirin regimen.
Help seal out tough food particles. Fix it in control with Food Seal. Enjoy all the foods you love.
Where do Americans get 2/3 of the oil and natural gas we rely on? North America. Surprised? Learn more. Visit energytomorrow.org.
I learned a lot when I found out I had high cholesterol, but I didn't know that it may have led to my erectile dysfunction. That's why my doctor told me about Levitra.
Certain medical conditions, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, can decrease blood flow, which may lead to ED.
That was news to me. My doctor told me Levitra could help.
Levitra works by increasing blood flow to help treat ED.
Levitra works for me. Maybe it can work for you.
Ask your doctor if you are healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems, are on alpha blocker therapy, or have uncontrolled high blood pressure, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss of vision or hearing, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away. Ask your doctor if Levitra is right for you.
This is a KGW News Channel 8 update.
Next, after nightly, history unearthed then looted in Portland's Chinatown, the push to protect the past. Plus, hoping to land a job during the holidays, what retailers are saying about hiring.
I'm Matt Safino. You're going to love my weekend forecast. We got lots of sun. All the news and weather at 6.
Making a difference. Brought to you by GlaxoSmithKline. Today's medicines, tomorrow's miracles.
Finally tonight, our Friday night Making a Difference report. Tonight, we introduce you to a remarkable woman who started out life living with a rare birth defect. She is now reaching out, helping others overcome the same obstacles she has faced. Her story from NBC's Carrie Sanders.
Rhea Tavares lives a life few thought possible. Born with an extremely rare birth defect that left her with no hands and only one finger at the end of each tiny arm, she was about to be sent away and forgotten.
My father wanted to put me in an institution in Brazil, and my mother said no.
Her mom raised her alone with tough love. Rhea says it forced her to learn she can do just about anything, but she always searched. Was anyone else like her?
My whole life, yeah, to see if I could find somebody to share my challenge, to share my success, and, you know, somebody to talk with.
Then last year, Rhea was featured in People magazine for her work with the Federation for Children with Special Needs. It was translated and published around the world, including in Slovenia, where Mia Sneerdarshit and her 4-year-old son Tim saw that translated article and did a double take. Tim and Rhea were exactly alike. Identical arms and fingers, identical challenges. They connected on the internet, and then she flew more than 4,000 miles to meet in person.
Yeah! Good job!
Now she could teach what she had learned through trial and error.
She gave me a lot of hope, really.
Rhea even helped Tim master what all the other Cub Scouts do in his neighborhood. What's the most important thing you told Tim's mother?
I told her not to help Tim all the time to do things. No, don't help him.
Because?
Because then if she does that, she's not helping him at all.
A hard lesson learned so long ago. And now Rhea says,
I'm not alone anymore.
She has new purpose, to make someone else's life just a little easier.
We're gonna be friends forever.
Carrie Sanders, NBC News, Boston.
Our broadcast for this Friday night and for another eventful week. Thank you for being with us for all of it. I'm Brian Williams. Lester Holt will be here with you this weekend. We, of course, hope to see you back here on Monday night. In the meantime, have a good weekend. Good night.
Tragedy at sea. A fishing boat rolled by high swells spilled its crew into the Bering Sea. 4 of the 5 men killed from our area.
It's devastating because it just kind of happened out of nowhere. We were all waiting on him to come home.
What we're learning about the victims and their ill-fated expedition. Shattered. It smashed a woman's windshield and nearly hit her.
How it could have gone into the backseat and missed her head is just a miracle.
And police say it was no accident. The search for who threw a large rock from an I-205 overpass and a brutal home invasion. A mother of 3 letting her dog out attacked by a man who forced his way in.
He had a knife to my wife's throat.
We'll hear from the woman's husband.
From the KGW HD studios, where the news comes first. News Channel 8 at 6 starts now.
Hi, I'm Wayne Haverly, in for Joe Donlin.
And I'm Tracy Berry. First at 6, dangerous mission. The rescuers who braved rough seas to save fishermen tossed overboard tell their story. While tonight, local families remember loved ones who died in the disaster off the Aleutian Islands. News Channel 8's Ann Yeager is following the latest developments tonight. Ann?
Tracy, right now the U.S. Coast Guard is holding a news conference. They tell the...
The Collins Foundation. The Collins Foundation is dedicated to improving the quality of life in Oregon. Portland French Bakery, a locally owned and operated business committed to supporting our community and the Northwest.